laid the F out on a slide attempt, and now everyone's talking about it. The player that hit him was suspended for 3 games, and you got even players like Tom Brady commenting, saying that, we don't want these hits to take place. We got to penalize both the offense and defense because he feels like the offense gets all the calls. And it's funny coming from yourself, Tom Brady, Mr. You got all the calls your whole career. Go ahead.
So the problem that I have with this is he's literally saying that, well, we have to protect offense and defense. But the problem with this is, Tom, that the defensive player flat out did this. And you want to gaslight Trevor Lawrence when it comes to this.
He's just hating on him.
I mean, clearly, Tom, I love you, Tom, but you're gaslighting. You narcissistic guy, you. You know what I mean? Like.
Well, and it was funny because he even talked about one of his examples, and he's like, I understand in the pocket, roughing the passer, but he goes, these guys, half of them are like running backs now, and they get out there, and they're tiptoeing the line, and then they get hit, and they get a flag. They were still in bounds. That's a legal hit. So he's like, it's some of the defenses, they're so scared anytime they got to make a hit that it's just like, the offense always gets the benefit of doubt. But this does make sense, but you just can't hear this conversation from Tom Brady because his whole career was on getting the benefit of the doubt when it came to calls. He honestly would probably have 2 Super Bowls if it wasn't for a handful of officiating calls and honestly rule changes and the tuck rule. And I can go on and on about Tom Brady's fraudulent career. But I just think, this is something that he can't say. Analysts could say this, but Tom Brady is the last person you ever want to hear say this with all the special treatment he got his whole career. They call him Mr. Asterisk.
Go ahead, Jay. What you want to say?
Because he's ass.
I mean, yeah, true. I mean, they do say that, but with the defense, it's already hard enough for them to get the tackle. Everything they do is a flag. I mean, it's like the offense can do anything to you, but the defense, as soon as the defense does one thing, they tackle you, they drive you down, or they mistakenly get pushed into the kicker. It's an automatic flag. So it's getting real hard and hard for the defense to play in the actual defense. And I mean, that hit was bad, but a lot of these hits, it's like he slid, I jumped by the time he slid, I already jumped in the air, and then like my helmet grazes you and hits you, and then like it's helmet to helmet. I mean, some of those contacts aren't always like they're going for that, but some of it's like, like sometimes it'll be the own player. Like you see like 2 players, they'll want to grab one player from the back and the other one come out of nowhere, try to like run in and attack him, and he make a mistake and hit his teammate in the head.
That's funny.
Well, the thing about it is sometimes players don't give themselves up, but Trevor Lawrence was clearly giving himself up.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly he slid, and the player was literally aiming shoulders towards his head.
I think there's a lot of
full speed.
There's a lot of questionable plays that we could talk about, but when it comes to this exact example, Trevor Lawrence was in no wrong. He gave himself up early, and that guy slid in there and took his head off. So, you know, I think it's, okay. I'm okay with the 3-game suspension. I would have been okay with the 5-game suspension because, I mean, that was pretty brutal. He got stiff-armed for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it is getting – yeah, what you want to say?
No. I was just saying that, man, Tom Brady's just – this is an L comment. You know what I mean? Because Tom Brady's maybe having a coming-to-Jesus moment where he's self-reflecting and we're like, you know what? Maybe when I was a quarterback, I did sell a lot of times. I did act a lot of times.
But Tom Brady didn't run like that.
You know who knows about that the most? His wife, Giselle.
Oh, Lord.
She said, you didn't show up for me, so I had to hook up with a yoga instructor. Now I'm pregnant.
But, I mean, a lot of these quarterbacks are running. I mean, him back in the time, Brady, he was never running. So, I mean, him getting helmet to helmet didn't happen, but he did have the whole the tucker rule, the little four.
He was still crying about the Giants beating him. I saw that he had tweeted about, like, Eli had tweeted something, and he was like, oh, what, did you catch that with your helmet too? He is still salty about the Giants ruining his legacy.
Right.
But, shout out the real GOAT, Eli Manning, for whooping Tom Brady twice.
What team does he play for, Gavin?
The Giants.
And who's the Giants team?
Your team, and I was a supporter. Eli was one of my favorite quarterbacks.
And you go next year when we get Cam Ward.
And Odell was one of my favorite receivers of all time. And Strahan was always cool to root for, and Brandon Jacobs, and all the old Giants.
That Malik Neighbors and Cam Ward connection is going to be crazy next year.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think the Giants got some pieces to move forward. They got rid of Daniel